Let's bring in Fox Nation host Nancy Grace. Nancy, thank you so much for joining the program. A couple questions for you just to kick this off. We know that the prosecution honed in on 4 cases focusing on those minors. They decided not to go widen the scope to those other victims. The defense tried to make the case about her being a victim, but she did not take the stand. So my question for you, Nancy, and I know this from being a private investigator for criminal defense, most of the time they do their own investigation and they find out things about their clients that they probably didn't want to know before, but they want to know it so they can defend themselves when the prosecution goes after them. Was it wrong for her not to take the stand to show the jury that she was a victim?
OHELLNO. Do I need to spell it out for you anymore? What would have happened if Ghislaine Maxwell had gotten up there on the stand? My very first question would be, you know what, I don't understand, Miss Maxwell. It's what you, the sophisticated, elegant British socialite, is doing, trolling playgrounds and spending time with 14-year-old little girls. Explain that. What, you're taking them to choir practice? Field day. She would have been carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey on the stand. That's why she didn't take the stand, because it would have torpedoed their case.
Nancy, Ghislaine Maxwell is in possession of a lot of information that could bring down some high-profile people. So what does she do behind bars? Does she name names?
Well, she's going to practice her singing voice. Okay, so I believe that all along she has been playing her cards very, very wisely. She didn't need to implicate other people, and everybody's saying, hey, is Trump involved? Is Clinton involved? Is Leon Black involved? Famous political figures, wealthy people. But listen, even if she names names, the state still has to create a case. But this would be the time for her to start naming names. I mean, after the life she's lived in complete and lavish luxury, 3 hots and a cot, that doesn't look too good for her.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Nancy, listen, I think what we saw yesterday was a modicum of justice. I mean, if you really think about it, Jeffrey Epstein took the coward's way out. And so my
modicum? She's going down for 60 years. That feels pretty good to me, because let me tell you something. I've dealt with a lot of adult victims of child molestation. It ruins their lives. They go on, they look normal, they may act normal, but they're never the same. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, there are other people to be held accountable, and it'll be over hell or high water that the state doesn't prosecute other men that had underage sex. You know what? That's a euphemism. That's putting perfume on the pig, underage sex. It's raping a little girl. That's what it is.
You're absolutely right. No, and I guess my question to you is with the victims, you know, there are more than 100 supposed victims. Only 4 of them had a chance to have their case heard. What do you do with the other, you know, almost 100? How do they feel right now? You spent time talking to victims of crimes like this. How do those other victims feel right now? Do they feel vindicated? Do they feel like this is only the beginning? And that's really where my question was going.
Well, it's a mixed bag. They feel vindicated because Ghislaine Maxwell is behind bars. Thank heaven, thank God in heaven, justice was sought and obtained. But they never got to tell their stories. Although they may have had other perpetrators, other men that took advantage of them. Today is another big day because we are learning that the civil agreement between another victim, Virginia Giuffre, and Epstein, there's a civil agreement that she wouldn't prosecute. It's going to be unveiled today. And I want to find out if that civil agreement for her not to sue included Prince Andrew and others. Because that's a bombshell. If it included Andrew or royalty, he might as well go ahead and hold up his hands.
You know, Nancy, that's the perfect segue because Giuffre released this tweet. She said, I hope that today is not the end, but rather another step in justice being served. Maxwell did not act alone. Others must be held accountable. I have faith that they will be. Do you think they will be, Nancy?
Well, I tell you, up until now, I did not. because it seemed as if the government didn't want to go forward because there may be political entities involved in child sex. That is not what our country is about. Our country is about pursuing justice, no matter who you are. And I think at this point, the government, the state's hand has been revealed. They've got to continue this investigation.
Yeah, and you know, Nancy, Ghislaine Maxwell's family, they released a statement yesterday. They're standing by her. They say, we believe firmly in our sister's innocence. We are very disappointed with the verdict. We have already started the appeal tonight, and we believe she will ultimately be vindicated. Maxwell's lawyers also say they're going to appeal. Where does this go?
Nowhere. They're going to spend a whole lot of money because this judge, Allison Nathan, you may or may not agree with her politics, but she is one smart cookie. She she clerked at the U.S. Supreme Court. Not just everybody gets to do that. She's really, really smart. My point is she didn't have any trial errors, so there's really nothing to appeal. Yeah. Ghislaine Maxwell better rely on not an appeal, but naming names to get a reduced sentence, or it's Danbury for her.
Well, let's hope she spends the rest of her life in jail either way. I hope she does name names. And Nancy, thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank God for this verdict.
Yeah.